All right, we're live. Hello, one, hello, all, because apparently stealing is a thing now. Welcome to this live stream. Usually I'm doing these over on CP's channel. I'm joined by CP of Will I Like It Reviews. Say hello. Is that how you start these things?
Sure. And then I'll be all stopgappy and hi, I'm CP.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk about 2017 films, and I did lift this idea from the Brits on Flicks podcast. Shout out to those guys because they did the same thing, and it's not wholly original concept, but fuck it, we're going to talk about the year so far. We've had 6 months worth of films in 2017, so we're going to run down our 5 worst of the year and our top 10 best so far. Obviously, it's a work in progress, and there's quite a few films I think will probably get to the top, once we get to them. I think episode 8 is probably going to be one that'll be near the top of my list no matter what, and a few other films. So, Right, I think we should start with the 5 worst. So if you want to start off with your 5th worst film of 2017.
So my bottom, the bottom of the barrel here. So somehow
the dregs, yeah.
Yeah, I saw Death Race 2050, and I guess they were going for they were going for the camp of the original, the original Stallone Death Race, and that's kind of it that they really pulled off. It's not good for straight to DVD. It's just not good. Period. It's really. Oh.
That kind of sounds worse than anything I've got in my book. I haven't seen any of them though, so I know there's a few of them, right?
Well, they redid it sort of with why is his name slipping my mind? I just saw him in Lock, Stock, 2.
Jason Statham.
Yeah. They redid one with him, and then they
I remember that. Yeah.
A pseudo sequel to that, and that was kind of dark. But this goes back to the campy. If you've seen the original with Stallone in, I don't know, it's a race across the country, and everybody's really cartoony, but they're getting points for killing people with their cars because that's funny.
Sounds kind of fun, actually.
Yeah. Well, the original,
right, the original
for what it is, yeah. Hi, AK Films.
Right, so yeah, hello AK Film. I just was loading up the chat then. Right, my number 5 is Life. Yeah, I really liked it. The first half an hour, I thought this is a great concept. I was really enjoying where it was going, and it just kind of lost me. I don't think it's a bad film. I didn't actively dislike it. It just it had a lot of great moving parts to it. A really good concept, good actors. And there's this scene towards the end with 2 of the main characters that's meant to have this kind of emotional weight to it. And I just realized I don't know these characters. Or really care that much. The ending was fun, I enjoyed it, but it was just disappointing because I felt like it could have been much more than it was.
So is that your least favorite movie of the year?
No, that's number 5. So we've kind of I guess number 1 would be. Oh, is that your?
I did it backwards. All right.
That's okay. That's fine.
That's all right. We'll undo it from there. I'll go 4, 3, 2, and then you'll have to guess what the number 1 was.
Well, all right. We'll give us your number 5 then. Now.
The Belko Experiment, which Lee from Drum Dums calls it Office Space meets Battle Royale, and I say if I got that movie,
yeah.
That's a good time.
Yeah. That sounds
Belko
great.
Experiment is it takes place in an office and people are killing each other. I mean, all right, so it's kind of similar, sort of, but
right. Did Lee maybe just think of a film that had office in the title?
Probably. I don't know what because what intrigued me was it was written by the guy who wrote and directed Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh.
Yeah. and the writing's really not. I mean, if I took a shot every time somebody said "man" in that movie,
Man.
yeah, you'd be drunk 10 minutes in. It just dude, man, dude, man, bro, dude, man. But yeah, the writing's not incredibly polished. It's a shame because there's some decent performances. It's just wasted. It's just an ill premise. A better version of it, I would say, is Exam, which I just recently saw. If you really want like a better version of that, not cleaner. Have you seen Exam, Luke?
No.
Okay. So it's like Saw meets
Office
an
Space.
office. I don't want to say Office Space. It's an office environment, but
Right.
8 people are locked in a room. And they have to figure out the answer to a question, and it gets
Okay.
a little heated. But it's there's no real gore, so to speak, and it's tension 101. Where Belko is just kind of poorly written and waste of a lot of really decent actors. It's a shame.
Isn't it?
Who Belko Experiment?
Yeah.
Michael Rucker. I don't know who he is. He's Jim from the Newsroom.
Okay.
I don't have his name off the top of my head. There's a couple. Tony Goldwyn's in it. There's a couple of others that I'm just outright forgetting. But yeah, a bunch. No real A-list actors. Just a bunch of B and C type deals.
Good hands.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll put the movie over.
Yeah. All right. So my number 4 is Raw.
Oh.
Yeah, I need to have a reaction to that. Now, I want to kind of go into this, and also if there should be at the bottom in the description of this video, there should be a link to both of our Letterboxd accounts, so you can go and check those out. And if you look at my list, I have Fate of the Furious above Raw. There's a couple of films, and I'll tell you now, Raw is a better film than films like that. But just for me personally, and we did that live stream viewing of Raw. I definitely appreciate the artistic merit of it. I think it's shot very well. The lead actress is great, but there's just some parts of the story that I kind of just, and it's a bit extreme in some parts. Not really extreme, but kind of extreme.
Right.
And some of that stuff is just not stuff I'm interested in seeing. And there's a moment in the film, I mean, it's to do with cannibalism and stuff. Mild spoiler, but there's a moment in the film where a character causes a car to crash, and she starts kind of feasting on the kind of the crash victims, and then nothing happens after that. Like surely her DNA would be all over those bodies. Like I just think like someone, I don't know, it just felt like the movie kind of lost me a bit on that. But
touche, that's pretty fair. I mean, I could appreciate that, because if somebody looks at my list, they'll see Silence. I gave Silence 4.5 stars, but it's somewhere in the teens for me. I love Scorsese. It just doesn't grab me.
Yeah, there's definitely if you look at my list and you look at the ratings, it isn't like a smooth incline. There are films that I will give a higher rating, but don't enjoy it as much as certain other ones. So that's my number 4. So what was your number 4?
Get the Girl. Which I don't. A guy is infatuated with a bartender, and she's going through a divorce, and it's taking a while, and he's trying to help her out. So he comes up with this plan, because she's not noticing him. He comes up with this plan to look like a hero, and pays a guy to kidnap her and him, and he could end up being the White Knight, except like you're paying a guy to kidnap a girl you like. Like the pretense is just so there's nothing to like. Like there's no reason to root for this guy. And then there's a twist, which is, I mean, you could see it from a mile away if you're paying attention properly. I don't know. It's the kind of movie that perhaps isn't that bad if you're just kind of, you know, got the TV on and you have people over and you just, but yeah, I don't know. It's just very, very forgettable. Very, as far as characters are concerned, there's nothing to like about anybody. Like, paced really well, but otherwise just just dog shit characters.
Just out of interest, I saw your review on Letterboxd, and the poster just looked really amateur. Like, did it look like a kind of low budget kind of, you know? Did it feel like that, or?
Yeah. I mean, you know, with what people can do with a DSLR these days,
right? Yeah,
you can kind of you know, throw the neon lights on and do some crazy shit in post. I mean, it looks all right. They're shooting, for the most part, they're shooting in like 3 locations, really dark locations all over the place. So, you know, it you could do worse, I guess. You really could, but you could do far better.
Yeah. My number 3, worst film I've seen so far in 2017, Assassin's Creed, which was, I think, the first film we saw in the cinema this year, and I really liked it. But it feels like it should be so much better with the people who are involved. You know, I mean, the cast: Jeremy Irons, Marion Cotillard, Michael Fassbender, some of the best actors working today, and they do give good performances. And there's another great actor in there who I don't want to spoil because he has quite a pivotal role. But yeah, it just, they don't seem to be getting these video game adaptations right, and I'm not sure if it's even if they're meant to. You know, I mean, you go back to the 90s and stuff, and video game adaptations are kind of very loose because there's not much story going on in those games. Now, you have these games which are like 15-hour movies, and those are great, you know, movies. So,
oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the storytelling in that is incredible. You don't need a Last of Us movie because the game does the same job. That was the first game where, like, yeah, right, because that was the first game I played with the credits. I was just like, I had the feeling after watching a great film. Only I felt like I'd been part of it. It was something really cool and different.
But smiling for no reason, just like.
But yeah, so I'm trying to think if there is a really great game based on a video game, a movie based on a video game, because I can't really think of any that, you know, there's enjoyable ones, you know, for good reasons and bad reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're doing an Uncharted movie with Spider-Man and Tom Holland. That'll be interesting. Anyway, so yeah, Assassin's Creed, it just kind of, it's more forgettable the longer I am away from it, I guess.
Yeah, I realized that I'm checking my list. I don't have that. I've seen that, and I was just as unenthusiastic about that film as you were. I just don't know why I don't have it. Maybe I think it's technically a 2016 release, although I don't know.
I think, well, it came out right at the beginning of January, so it could have been on the cusp. But
I mean, I've been here since January, so I don't know what my deal is.
Yeah, but I haven't played any of the games, so I have no relationship to that anyway. So I don't know if it's a thing where the fans enjoy it more, but like a lot of the action scenes have Michael Fassbender in present day inside this machine.
Yeah.
And he's moving around, but he's living through a memory of someone hundreds of years ago. And the thing that gets me is he's not controlling anything. He's just a vessel. So there's no like, oh, he could change the course of things here. No, he's just going through the motions of it. So it just felt like there was no, you know, stakes, you know.
Yeah.
It was just, yeah. Anyway,
Inception without the fun.
Right. Okay. Even then. So you're number 3.
Chips.
Yeah, I heard bad things about that, but I don't know anything about it.
Oh man, unnecessary. And guess what? Hey, dick jokes. You did it. I think they thought 21 Jump Street worked, and it was a TV show, and it kind of did the R-rated thing. Chips, they just did the R-rated thing, and I don't know if it's if it's what's his face. What the fuck is his name? I have to look up. Dax Shepard. He just can't. He can't carry a movie like. Like he's that prototypical C-list comedy star guy. Like what?
I think C's being generous.
Yeah, I was trying to be polite, but what? I don't care. Yeah, okay. You're riding a motorcycle and you're, oh, okay. Dick jokes. Wee-haw. Again, another one where you just don't give a shit. Like there was twists, and it's just like, I don't care. I don't care about any of these people. Just please get this over with. It's like, I hate sounding like a typical movie snob, but it's like these big studios, they figure out, okay, this is what's worked before. We'll just do this with something similar and blank. Like they took the 21 Jump Street script and then Cliff's notes it and ugh, no, thank you, no.
Yeah, that's not the way to go about making a film. It's like, well, that'll make money, you know. But it happens a lot. David Gerlach says, horrible idea. Why a young Nathan Drake? Yeah, I'd rather see it than an adult Nathan Drake, because I don't know. But I wouldn't want to see it anyway, because again, like The Last of Us, it's great in the game. You know, I don't know.
Dude, when they were talking about Nathan Fillion playing Nathan Drake, I was okay with that. Or even the guy who voice acts Nathan Drake.
Like, I mean, he looks the part. I mean, I don't know, but again, maybe a bit too old. And same with Nathan Fillion, maybe 10 years ago. But I don't know. Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. Kieran White says, hey, hello. Zach says hello. And Mr. Movie says, fans hated Assassin's Creed. Well, there you go. I didn't have any knowledge on whether fans enjoyed the film or not. Right, my number two. I kind of feel bad for this one. Hidden Figures, which tells the story of these women in, I believe, the 60s who worked for NASA and did some great stuff in an era where, you know, women's place in society at that time really was pretty much stay in the kitchen, you know. That's how bad it was. And these were women who said, nope, fuck that. I want to do this. I want to get into that. And they did it. And they did some incredible stuff. So the story is phenomenal. But the film just, it felt very by the numbers, and just, and I remember being disappointed that some of the parts of the film I enjoyed the most were kind of fabrications. They'd really layered on more kind of oppression than was actually there. And I felt like that's a bit of a shame. I believe there was one of the characters, she was really pushing to get more education, I think, or something like that. And she had to like speak to a judge and stuff and convince him. And I thought, oh, that's awesome, you know, that she did that. And then I read that she didn't do that. She just said, can I do this? And I went, okay. So the film's like building up as more than it is. But I mean, yeah, as a story, great. But it was just, it just was what it was. You know, I'll never watch it again. But I think the story's great. You know, I'd much rather see a documentary on it. You know, and I think they brought out one of the women at the Oscars, which was really cool. I like that. But yeah, it was what it was. Your number two.
Yeah, which technically is the last of my bottoms.
Yeah, we know what number one is.
Robert De Niro in The Comedian. As a comedian, as somebody who's performed on stages that are shown in this film, I was so excited to see this movie. And
I haven't even heard of it.
There's a reason you haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad. It's fucking bad. I'm trying to think of like cynical, like romance movies. And Robert De Niro, I can't name you the last time I watched Robert De Niro in something and thought, yeah, you know what? I enjoyed that. I'm gonna remember this and buy it and watch it again. I don't think it's happened this century. What the fuck has he done lately?
I like that film he did with John Travolta. I forget what it was called. Everyone was like ripping it into shreds, but it was really enjoyable. And Travolta's accent is just all over the place, but I really enjoyed it. I forgot what it's called. I guess that speaks volumes to the film, but I kind of enjoyed it. But yeah, I mean, compared to, you know, his peak, it's
Yeah.
Kind of cashing paychecks at this point, it
Yeah.
seems.
Tell DiCaprio to take a break and call Scorsese back and say, "Hey, I need you to
Well,
put right."
they're doing The Irishman, right? Isn't that a thing now?
Are they?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I think Netflix or some streaming thing got involved, and from what I know, it's happening.
Ooh.
So I hope so. Anyway, I know they're really trying to get Joe Pesci out of retirement as well.
Oh, please, just one more, just so I know it's the last time, and then I'll really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I just watched My Cousin Vinny a couple of days ago.
Oh, it's either me or them. You're getting fucked one way or the other.
You're getting fucked one way or the other. What do you think? Breakfast?
You should be down on your knees. Thank you.
You have that's some ego you have.
What's that you're saying? Utes? Yo,
Utes.
Yeah, All right. So your your least favorite film of the year was Death Race 20 something or another.
Yeah, Death Race, the 2017 edition.
2017.
Go out and rent it today.
Death Race, the guitar edition. My number one least favorite film of 2017 was Underworld Blood Wars. Watched it a couple of weeks ago.
How'd I forget about that?
Yeah, I've seen all of the Underworld films. I couldn't tell you anything about them. There's vampires, werewolves, I think. Kate Beckinsale looks good in leather.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw the fourth one in the cinema. They're just very forgettable. I don't find them bad per se. This one was the same. It just was there, and I just kind of switched off a bit. It just didn't really grab me at all. It opens with montage of other cuts from the previous films, and Kate Beckinsale's character, whatever that her name is, Celine. She's got, this is what happened to me, blah blah blah, and then there's this short action sequence. She meets with the guy, and then they're off to go somewhere, and it felt like a scene from the third act of a film. Like it was like, oh, this feels too settled in already. Like it just,
yeah.
I don't know. There's just something odd about that one scene that just threw me off for the whole film. And yeah, it wasn't bad, but it just was,
blood snores.
Yeah.
Rachel Wagner, totally. I absolutely agree. Silver Linings Playbook. So De Niro in that.
Oh yes, yeah. Right, back to the comments. What do you think of Tom Ford doing a James Bond movie? Tom Ford, who's that?
Is that the guy from Nocturnal Animals?
Ah, right, okay. I love Nocturnal Animals. That'd be interesting. He provides Daniel Craig suits for those movies, so it makes sense. Oh yeah, sure. he does the wardrobe. I think the only film I've seen from him was Nocturnal Animals, so yeah, possibly. Nick BD says, with video game films, I think we'll get one that'll break the mold, like Spider-Man and X-Men in 2000 for comics. Right.
Yeah. If they're redoing Resident Evil, if they just take the script from the first game, just follow that.
That's what I wanted to see when they first announced the film. I was like, oh yeah, because I love the creepy atmosphere of that first game in the mansion. That's what I thought the movie was going to be, and it was a bit more kind of actiony and
landing strip. I mean, wait.
I'm old enough to remember when comics were unadaptable. No one wanted them back then. Yeah, I guess so. It's I don't know. We'll see with video game movies. I just think that it's hard to get them right. And yeah, De Niro and Silver Linings Playbook was good. I haven't seen Joy though. Right, there's a few more comments. We'll get back to them shortly. So we're going to go into the top 10. If you want to start off.
Okay, so we're at 10 now, not 1, right?
Yes, 10.
Okay, so number 10 for me is The Founder.
I haven't seen that. I really want to see that.
Ooh, Michael Keaton is really, really good in that.
Yeah.
It's, for as much as I talk about characters that you really can't root for, Michael Keaton is such he's a dick, but you're really kind of understanding and I don't want to ruin the movie. Knowing what a Buster Keaton fan you are, you really should check it out.
Okay. All right. My 10 is Wait, where is it? Shit. Professional and prepared as always. Number 10, Wonder Woman. Purely on the list, just because, you know, feminists will attack you if you don't put it in your list. I'm kidding. Relax. I really enjoyed it. It really was refreshing to see a big superhero film with a female as the lead character. And not because, you know, finally, just because it was just different, you know? It was just a different thing to see. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good story. I recently made a video for JoeBlow.com about the comic book history of Wonder Woman, which I had no idea about. So in researching it, I really got into seeing the film. And the film follows the origin story quite closely. So I quite enjoyed that aspect of it. I thought Chris Pine was great. And Gal Gadot is just, I think, perfectly cast. The lead villain towards the end, bit stock, you know, bit kind of destroy the worldy, but yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I think I'm real. When Spider-Man just came out, I have no interest whatsoever. I mean, it's not all right. But let me rephrase that. It's not that I don't have any interest. It's just I'm in no rush. Like, yeah, I'll watch it on home, and you know, in the privacy of a small screen. I don't care anymore. But I've heard things, and you know, when it's available, I'll get it. My uncle will probably hook me up.
Yeah. Don's good like that. But yeah, I really, it's definitely my favorite of the new DC films for sure. As much as I've enjoyed all of them, you know, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Suicide Squad, there's always been things in those films that make me go, and there's not much of that in Wonder Woman, really. There's only one scene in Wonder Woman where Chris Pine is in this kind of bath in the Amazonian place where Wonder Woman lives, and she walks in and he just stands up and goes, oh, and he's just stood there completely naked, like hands down at his sides, you know. And it's just like, he'd probably cover it if he was a normal functioning human, you know. It just felt quite odd. Your number 10.
That was my number. Oh wait, my number 10 was The Founder.
Oh, The Founder, of course. Sorry, yeah, number 9.
My number 9 is John Wick 2, which might get a couple of gasps here and there.
Why?
Oh, maybe I'm just thinking of my present company. Dennis, I think, has it rather high.
Okay, yeah.
Lots of headshots.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, you haven't seen John Wick 2?
No.
Okay, so I kind of like this, that we have these lists that we're kind of, you know, intertwining. It's John Wick 1. Continued. If you like John Wick 1, you're gonna like. Don't expect much new stuff. It's just as snappy looking and flashy and it's, you know, it's not fresh. That's what I could say about it. It's done well, but it's not fresh.
I'm really looking forward to it. I remember when the first one came out, it was just like John Wick, you know, and it's the same with like John Carter.
Yeah.
Then you watch it and say, oh, this is really good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love Keanu Reeves and really enjoyed the first film, so I'll definitely be checking it out. Just one that I guess we didn't prioritize going to see for some reason. So my number 9 is Spider-Man: Homecoming, which we saw 2 days ago. I love this film. Really enjoyable. Probably the best like Spider-Man film, but I still think Spider-Man 2 is a better film. But it seems like this really got the Spider-Man character right for what that character is and everything. And Tom Holland is great. And interestingly enough, to kind of echo what you were saying about The Founder, Michael Keaton is brilliant in this.
I've heard
he's a dick, but you enjoy him being a dick. You know, I love the scene at the beginning of the film, which takes place just after the end of the Avengers. New York is still messed up from the battle, and Michael Keaton's kind of team is clearing up the Grand Central Station, which has been blown up and stuff, and there's bits of alien things and stuff. So he's clearing up all this stuff, and the government comes in and is like, oh, we'll take it from here. And Keaton's like, what? And Keaton's like, what? He's like, my crew, you know, I bought trucks for this, you know, like everything's, my whole like job is riding on this job. And she's like, well, tough, you know, whatever. And it's just, I don't want to see what happens after that, but Keaton just plays it so perfectly, and it's just such a little badass moment. And it's a great setup to the character who I don't want to call him a villain. I guess he is the villain, but it's one of the best kind of antagonists in any of the Marvel films, I think, because much like Spider-Man 2, you understand why the villain's doing what he's doing. And it's played brilliantly by a great actor. So that's really the big part of it that I enjoy the most. And I've already done a review of it, so you can check that out for more thoughts. So love Spider-Man. Your number 8.
My number 8 is Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which again, not incredibly fresh. Before Baby Driver came out, it was the wow, music and movies look really good together. And then
I will say that Guardians 2 was my number 11, so it almost made the top 10.
Okay, yeah, I
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like that our lists are quite spacey and gappy. But yeah, again, not fresh. If you've seen the first one, it's a bit more of the same. Gets a little odd in the a little gappy with the pacing towards the second act there. But otherwise, you know, it's perfectly fine. It's good.
It's not quite all right though. I mean, let's not get carried away here. I guess I can say it now with a free conscience. The David Hasselhoff thing was just an abortion.
Oh yeah.
Like you could put that gag anywhere else in the film, but like just there, no. It was great to see Kurt Russell in a big movie like that as well. Just Kurt Russell, Michael Keaton, two of my favorite actors in kind of big roles. It's kind of fun. Number 8 for me is La La Land. And there'll probably be a couple, I guess, on my list that cross over in that Oscar period where I go by the European release dates. But La La Land, I mean, I loved Whiplash. I think this director is really something. Just he has a vision, and it just seems to be executed pretty nicely. The first couple of musical numbers in the film, I was like, I'm not going to enjoy this film. After that, it became a little less kind of show tuning and a bit more. The music served the storytelling more, I think, and I really enjoyed that. Loved the lead, and you know, I like a good kind of melancholic romance story. So yeah, I thought it was really good. Didn't love it as much as everyone else, but it's definitely up there. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's 14 on my list.
So you're number 7.
The Lego Batman movie.
I love that. It was really good.
A little. I want to say it was a little darker and a little more full as far as the story's concerned. With the Batman. Without spoiling it, the deal with him and Robin, like that's like a really big. It's a really touching little thing they do there, and there's this pseudo like rom-com thing between Batman and Joker, which I almost think it's a better time than the Lego movie, which is how the fuck is that possible?
Yeah, I think I enjoy it more just because I love the Batman character so much. But like you see, like I love the dynamic between him and the Joker in this. It's really funny. And yeah, it's a really good story. Like I was skeptical, much like I was with the Lego movie. But yeah, and I really laughed a lot. So I love how inside referencey they got with like all the other films, and very crazy when they have the license to have Batman fighting with like Voldemort and King Kong, you know? And like the Gremlins, you know, just all these characters mashed up. Is pretty
Didn't
fun.
they have the Ghostbusters in there too? It's just like, wait, what?
Probably, yeah. They just and I love how because they made out of Lego, and they don't dwell on it too much, but there's some fun little gags about it. So sometimes you forget that you're even watching these little figures.
Or they're made up like Eraserhead, or like some of the villains that were just, unless they're not made up. I mean, some of them seemed like they just had to be made up. It was quite funny.
Well, you never know the comic book history, and I liked how Billy D. Williams finally got to play Two-Face. That was fun. My number 7 is Split.
Hmm.
The trailers for this made it look really good, so we went to see it. And it's one of those films we don't usually go to see in the cinema. We always, because it's quite expensive over here to go see a film, so we usually reserve that for the bigger movies. Just looked so compelling. We went to see it, and I loved it. Again, I don't want to spoil anything. I guess that there's a tag at the very end of the film that links it to another film. I haven't seen that film, so that kind of at the end to me was like, oh, so I guess that means like it didn't have the the snap. But I almost kind of wish that when it starts to go where it goes in the last 10 minutes, I almost find it a more interesting film without that. If you take that out of the equation. But James McAvoy has been one of my favorite actors for about 13 years. Just love him in almost everything he does. I think it's one of his best performances. Yeah, just brilliant. A really good thriller. And your number 6.
My number 6 is Wilson with Woody Harrelson, which is done by the same people who did Ghost World. I guess I could relate to Woody Harrelson's character. He's just there's no filter. It's just if you've seen Scarlett Johansson, is it Scarlett? Maybe Star Birch. Well, they're the way they interact in Ghost World, and not so much Thora Birch, because the way she treats Steve Buscemi in that movie is a little fucked up. Woody Harrelson, he has no filter. It's funny, but he's doing it for the right reasons. Like a lot of people are going to hate it just based on the dialogue, because there's anybody who knows me knows I use the C word like it's nothing, and it's a word. It's not a feeling. So with that said, this movie, the language is extremely strong. There are things that are said that are extremely strong, but that's not the message. The message is he's really a good dude. I really can't wait to watch it again. It's an oddball movie. If you've seen Ghost World, you know it's a little cuckoo.
I haven't seen Ghost World.
Okay.
I want to, because Criterion have just released it, which means it's a good film.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And expensive.
Yes. My number 6 is Lion.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Now, people have complained about this film because the story is about this young Indian boy who gets lost in India. He's on a train, and it just keeps going, and he gets hundreds of miles away from home. I think he even gets to another part of the country or another country, whatever, and he gets lost. And after a couple of years, he gets sent off to Australia by a family who adopt him. He grows up in Australia and wants to find his parents again. So he spends years looking on Google Earth to try and remember, where his family lived in the middle of nowhere, and it's an incredible true story. But you do have a significant section of the film where he's just moping around looking on Google Earth. And people are like, well, this isn't very cinematic. But I liked that. I think it's a great story. It wasn't exaggerated. The acting was really good. The kid who plays him as a young Indian boy was brilliant. And the first 40 minutes of the film is like this foreign film. And then you move to a complete... I just loved the contrast between the two parts of the film. And just a true story. I mean, at the very end, they show like a clip of the real people, and it just fucking broke me. Like, it absolutely shattered me. So this film, just purely based on how emotional it made me, I just thought it was brilliant. So, all right. So we have top 5 to go. I'll just read some of the comments before we go to that. Disney fan says, as far as movies released on DVD or Blu-ray, Rogue One for me was very poor considering what the trailer portrayed.
That third act.
Yeah. Dunkirk will be my number 1 theatrical release. Super hyped for that. I'm not too... I don't think I'm going to go see it. I don't know. I think it's going to be fantastic, but yeah, I don't have that itch to jump out and see it.
Dude, I said the same thing about Interstellar, and then after I left the theater, I was like, well, thank God I saw that in the theater.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it looks like a film we need to see on the big screen, but I'm just not sure.
Dude,
Again, trying to prioritize the.
Until Nolan misses,
Well,
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
oh no! Again, I'm not saying I think it's going to be bad. It's just for me, I just not really. And that's another one that's a really great true story.
Yeah, which I
Who
only
would have
just
thought
found out recently.
Who would have thought the Karate Kid's uncle is Joe Pesci? Yeah.
Cousin.
Again, about the Tom Ford doing a Bond movie. Yeah, I mean, it could be interesting. Irishman has been in the works for years. Hopefully, it happens. Yeah, I would really like to see it based on the people who might be involved. Slightly off topic, but best film posters ever. Anything Drew Struzan did. You know, like, there's actually a documentary about Drew Struzan. You know, the Back to the Future poster, the Indiana Jones ones, the Star Wars ones, The Thing. That poster of The Thing, the head, kind of the light coming out. He just did that overnight. You know, he just stayed up all night and just threw it together. Awesome. I miss the days of proper painted
airbrush
movie poster artwork.
Yeah.
Just so good. And you see it now on, like, you know, deluxe IMAX exclusives or something. They'll get artists in to do it as these things, but the generic poster is always this Photoshop just, you know, slapped together.
Yeah. Or,
you know.
Oh yeah. Or whenever they do some sort of like special showing of an anniversary film, they usually get some sort of crazy print for it. Yeah. Baby Driver has a drawn, I don't know if it is drawn, but it has that classic look to it with all the heads against a red background. Not the one where the cars coming out of a gun. There's one with all their heads. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Sean H2K11 says, haven't seen a lot of bad movies this year, but for me the best is Get Out and the worst is The Mummy. The Mummy, and then people said it was terrible, and I could kind of see that. So, I don't know, I might watch it later on.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton would make a movie about paint drying on a wall grate. Maybe, yeah. But he definitely is a good hand in the ring. Okay, again, I'm trying to catch up on the comments. CP's talking to someone. But Luke, it's David Hasselhoff. I know who it is, but you just timing, you know. The Lego Batman movie is the perfect spoof of Batman. Yeah, it sends the character up pretty well. It Comes at Night is also one of the best so far this year. I'm assuming that's a horror film, or a thriller at least. David says, Luke, it's a Christopher Nolan movie in World War II in IMAX. I know. I think I said this in a recent video. Like, I love war movies when I'm watching them, but to make that step to start watching them is a whole other thing. It's just a weird thing I've had. Ghost World is a really good film, says Wolf Gratz. Possibly even better if you know the comic. And the Criterion release looks fantastic.
The sale's going on right now.
Oh yeah, I had my basket. I had my basket full this morning, but they haven't put all the titles over yet, so I'm kind of waiting to send off my order. My best is Your Name, and worst is Silence.
Wow.
I do need to see Silence. And Your Name was my favorite film of last year. Transformers 5 may have clinched the #1 spot for worst of the year. Yeah, I don't think I'll be watching that. So on with the top 5. For me, number 5 is The Red Turtle, which is a French, I believe, animated film, co-produced with Studio Ghibli. Was nominated for the Oscar this year. And if the best film wins the Oscar, then it would have won. But it's just a masterpiece. It's more silent than a silent movie. There's no dialogue. It's this character who gets washed up on a desert island, and you just see his life on this island. And there's a turtle that comes along. There's some other things that happen. It's about the circle of life. No pun intended with the Lion King. And yeah, there's just something so intriguing about it. I put it on. and Connie was watching the first 5 minutes, and she was like, "Oh, I don't want to watch this," but she kept watching, and by the end, she was just engrossed, and she just said that was an amazing film. No dialogue again. There's no title cards like you get in silent films, but you just understand it. Anyone in the world could watch it and just get what it's about, or at least get something out of it, I think. So yeah, just brilliant film. Your number 5.
My number 5 is Get Out, which isn't a horror movie. I'm gonna say it. It's a social commentary with a couple of jump scares, but God, it's done rather well.
I'd call it a horror thriller. I mean, the situation the character finds himself in is pretty terrifying to me. So,
well, yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, maybe.
Technically.
Yeah. All right. So if the Babadook is a horror, then yes. I mean,
right, yeah.
Get Out is like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner meets the Stepford Wives. So yeah, no, it's done really well. I'd like it. I want to see Jordan Peele do something else. I love when people get so much credit, like you're mentioning Damien Chazelle before. He's done 2 really good films now. There's a lot of people that make a really good first movie, and I have this theory that there's a reason to that, because their entire lifetime of ideas are put into that first film. It's 20, 30, 40 plus years of ideas, and I want to do this, I want to do this, and like Richard Kelly with Donnie Darko. Again, right. Just rewatched that recently, and it's an ending. That's Donnie Darko. Like if you get further and further away from it, it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick ending that's just kind of padded. Let me see Jordan Peele do something else, and then I'll give him credit. Let's calm down.
Well, I haven't seen anything. Is it his only film? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, right. I didn't like I enjoyed the humor in it in the first half, but when shit starts getting really real at the end of the film and the humor's still there a bit, I was like, but I really enjoyed it, and
he is a comedian for the record, so that's where he's comfortable.
Yeah. Get Out was number 14 for me. Get Out. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and with Chazelle, I saw an interview with him about La La Land, and that was something he's had planned for like 10, 12 years. So that kind of makes sense, I think. And I think you're onto something there with that, because when you want to make a film for so long, and then you finally get to make that film. All right, what next?
Yeah.
Some people can do it, and some. I mean, everyone's different. There are directors who pump out film after film after film, year after year. Edgar Wright will take 3 years between every film. So everyone's different.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course, there's anomalies, but I think there's something to that. I feel like that.
Yeah, I agree.
To at least 33% of first timers are just.
Yeah.
You're 4.
My number 4 is another animated film, and another one nominated for the Oscar. My Life as a Zucchini, or I think the original title is My Life as a Courgette, because I guess.
Man, you're going up for those Oscars.
Yeah, I mean, those animated films keep trying for the Oscars, but right. So it's a stop motion animated film. I think it's French, and blew me away. It really did. It's really simple, only about an hour long, and it's about this kid who goes through something pretty traumatic at the beginning. And you see these characters. It's quite reminiscent of a Tim Burton stop motion animated film, but with color injected into it. Expressive eyes, big heads, and stuff. And cartoony kids, but they're kids who are going through some heavy shit. And the main character, who gets called Courgette by his mother, he goes to like a home for kids whose parents have, been incapacitated, or they're into drugs or whatever. And it's a really affecting little story, and I just wasn't expecting it. I thought it would be good, but it was more than good. Yeah, we really enjoyed it. And I think that The Red Turtle is a better film, but this one just pipped it for the emotional response I got out of it. And again, just I like the contrast of the visuals: bright, colorful kids, big heads, big eyes, and then the really kind of serious subject matter. So your number 3.
My number 4 is Logan.
Number 4, sir. Really? Okay.
Really good. I mean, I'm probably going to get some mouths agape for my next choice, but yeah, just like what we were talking about before, I recognize it's a very good movie. I just prefer certain aspects of other things, and
Sure.
it it it's I've only seen it the once in the theater. It's man, if all westerns were that gory, I'd really be a western fan. Uh,
Yeah.
Stephen Merchant, I didn't realize he had stuff like that in him. For the record, he plays the
Yeah, the first few scenes of his character, I was like, I wasn't buying it. But by the end of his character's arc in that film, I thought, oh yeah, really good. And more often than not, comedians who know how to be funny, they can pull on the drama switch pretty well.
Yeah, and just really, it's at this point, and well, let me forget what I'm saying for the third one, but at this point on, they're all really 4.5, 5-star movies, with the exception of maybe the next one. But
okay, but you're building it up now. I mean, the thing with Logan, I think, is to quote someone, I forget who it was, but they said it's got everything you need in a movie. You know, boobs, fucks, and brutal kills. So, not the words I would use, but you know, that's Dennis from the Blue Corner, by the way. Shout out to him and his fantastic review of the film on Letterboxd. So my number 3 is Moonlight. Again, loving the Oscar films. I did a marathon of all the Oscar nominated films I hadn't seen. The weekend of the Oscars, I watched about 12 films. It was ridiculous. So this was just another one in the spoke, you know, just keep turning, you know, okay, I'll watch this one. And I loved it. Fantastic drama. I love the story that it told of this character in 3 acts, you know, as a young boy, as a teenager, and as a young man. And what really affected me was that the guy who plays him, the main character as an adult, you know, he looks a bit like kind of 50 Cent, you know, he's big, he's muscly, he just looks like a tough dude. And you see him in very sensitive situations. And I just thought that was a really cool, different thing to see. The acting is stellar. I forget the woman who plays his mother. I think she's a British actress. She was incredible in the film. And then the guy who won the Oscar was great in the part of the film he was in. Yeah, I just loved the story, and it was moving to me. So, yeah, number 3.
Okay, so everything I was saying before about 5 stars and all that stuff, I recognize that my number 3 is probably not even 3 stars for most people, but I enjoyed the story of Prometheus, and Alien Covenant carried that on a bit, and fuck what they did with David. All about it. I was a big fan of Alien Covenant, and it's my 3rd film of the year.
Good for you.
Yeah, I said it. Yeah. I really hope that they manage to keep going, but I don't think they're going to with the money it's not making.
Right, guys, we're going to get ready on the next 5 movies. Ridley. Turn wasn't quite as much as we were hoping.
Yeah, Ridley, can you do it for 10 million? We'll try it for 10.
Can you get Matt Damon in
it? Yeah.
Alien Mars.
Well, I mean, I understand what people's gripes are, and I guess like you could have these gripes for everything. A Prometheus fan will be like, "Why is it like Aliens?" You know, there's parts of it that are kind of like Aliens, and then somebody who's looking for Alien is like, "Oh, why are you doing that Prometheus shit?" And it's a little bit of everything and not one thing. So it's just, I don't know. I just recently rewatched the Med. Like, there's if you know the soundtrack, the Med Bay track, it's like this 8-minute piece of score. The scene that accompanies that is just so intense. I don't know.
Prometheus.
In Alien Covenant,
On Covenant, okay.
when they get back from the field and we have a backburster, which isn't a spoiler because that's all over the trailers.
Yeah.
That score, like everything that's happening, I feel like we're talking about music accompanying the picture more than anything today.
Well, it's an important aspect of films. I'll say this: you've only seen it once, right?
Yeah, Uncle got me a copy. So,
well, where did I put it? I had Covenant my number 12 so far of the year. I really, really liked it a lot. I had some gripes with it when I first saw it, and then when I went back to the UK for a trip, I managed to drag my mum along to the cinema, and she got me into the Alien film, so it was really cool to see an Alien movie with her. And I think
that's really sweet.
I think it was the only Alien movie she's seen in the cinema as well. I guess she watched the rest on video, but we had the whole cinema to ourselves. It was really weird. It was like this personal screening. And second time, I enjoyed it a lot more.
Really?
And it wasn't like oh wow, but it was just like, yeah, I really don't care about those gripes I had to begin with. So yeah, much like Prometheus, I think it'll be a grower, So
oh yeah, Prometheus, I like it way more now than I did, and I really enjoyed it the first time around.
Yeah.
So yeah,
my number 2 is Baby Driver. Loved this film. All I needed to know was Edgar Wright, and it's a movie. I'm there. So I was really excited for this, and it over-delivered. Just an incredible film. And I've put up a full review if you want to hear more thoughts on it. But the way that music is integrated into the film comes across as gimmicky if you look at it as just that. But I was so glad that the rest of the film worked outside of that. The first 2 sequences are just great, spectacular. Editing is fantastic. And then I thought, all right, let's see what happens when the story starts, and will it again stand on its own? And it did. And I liked the story, and I liked the characters, and every character had a motivation for something. So I kind of knew where everyone was trying to get to. Jamie Foxx's character was kind of just in it for the thrill of it. John Hamm and his girlfriend were in it to kind of fund their extravagant lifestyle. And then of course you have Baby and so on. And I also loved how the soundtrack was great, but I didn't know hardly any of the songs. You watch Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like, oh, that one, oh, that one, oh, that one, oh, that one. Oh dear, that must have cost a lot of money to do the soundtrack. But I mean, it's great and it works. But I was really impressed by how the soundtrack was so good in this film, but I didn't know any of the music, so it was
quite Tarantino / Scorsesean, where they pick up these songs that you're just like, what? Why? Yeah. What is that? So why am I tapping my toes? But what the hell is this I'm listening to?
Yeah, I loved it. And if you've seen the film, one of my favorite things is how it ends, because you don't really need to do those last few minutes, and it still works as a film. But I like that extra touch of reality that I think just made it a much more fuller story for me.
Yeah, so, the paperwork from Hot Fuzz, so to speak.
Yeah, so loved Baby Driver, and it almost could be my number 1. So yeah, have you said your number 2?
My number 2 is Baby Driver, so I might as well just piggyback your sentiment.
Sure.
Other things to be said are, I think I noticed this, not in the moment, but in hindsight. I think something that I'd like to go back and check. I think the tempo grows. The music that he uses, he starts off with jazz, and then he gets to, by the end, it's this classic rock. I mean, it's a very slow, jazzy type thing in the opening. I mean, not the opening scene, obviously, that chase scene. But I think the music actually grows in tempo as the movie gets further along, and it's at this high pace for the third act. The use of color in the film is incredible. Jamie Foxx is always in red. He's a bad guy. The lighting, blues and reds on people, almost overt. I mean, shit, I think Dennis even noticed color, which is, I'm not, it's not a gripe against Dennis. It's just when he's noticing, film nerd stuff, that it says something.
Right,
yeah. There's other Edgar Wright films I like more, but as a technical aspect, as somebody who's tried to edit stuff to a song, fuck, like, just go fuck yourself with this movie, man. Oh, gunshots and running to the beat, and just everything is done to music. It's just, it's so good.
And it works as well. Like it rises above the gimmick, which is really good. And it's just fun. Like, the music is coming from him with the headphones on. I mean, it's a very simple idea, but it works so well.
Right.
And it might be his best film, I think. I don't know. It's very impressive. And
technically speaking, yes.
Sure, technically, but like I said to you, and maybe in my review as well, I might have said that I like how it's a nice transition from his more funnier films. Like, this film's funny. There's a lot of great jokes in it, but it's not joke a minute. It's not, as far as like the joke ratio, it's nowhere near as much as the Cornetto trilogy. And of course, he's not doing this with Simon Pegg writing the script and stuff. And so I think it's a nice transition. It's still an Edgar Wright film. It's still funny, but it's its own thing at the same time. So, right, before we get to number one, I'll just quickly scan through the comments again. It Comes at Night is a love it or hate it movie, slow pace, but from a filmmaking perspective, it's outstanding. Have you seen that?
I have not. I have not.
Man, the pacing. The original silence was really interesting in a gloomy sort of way. The original, okay. Kubrick's first film was trash, but I'm glad he stuck around.
All right, there's the opposite end of the coin.
Rachel says, Zucchini I found kind of emotionally exhausting. I could get that. Like I said, it's a very short film, and so a criticism of that was that it deals with this serious stuff, but it's like very short and kind of skates over stuff. But I felt like that was appropriate to the kids who are kind of just trying to find their way, through this kind of thing. My number one so far is Tony Erdmann. Was that nominated for some kind of Oscar? I think. Worst is either Certain Women or Beauty and the Beast. Wow, I really like Beauty and the Beast. Rachel says Boss Baby is another worst. I really enjoyed Boss Baby. I found it really funny. It's not great, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. Moonlight was at my number 3 too. If you guys were on death row, what film would you watch one last time? Dog Day Afternoon. I was, just as a between us, I was really disappointed with how Connie reacted to Dog Day Afternoon, I have to say.
Oh, no.
I mean, she really liked it a lot, but I was expecting her to get it as much as I got it, So.
Sal.
What's that line? They poisoned the pizza or something.
John Cazale, man, like, just give me a John Cazale block, all 5 of his movies. Make sure I start with Deer Hunter, because man, that's pacing. Talk about pacing.
Logistics. Hello, Jason Hamilton. Right.
Jason Hamilton, what's going on, man?
Oh, number one. You go first. Your number one film so far of 2017.
It's been brought up before in your bottom 5, and it's
What?
Raw.
Holy shit! I mean, I knew you liked it, but I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I'm all about that movie.
That's
Holy
great.
fuck! It's a good film, and I guess I'm not too turned off by some of that weird shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's different. I mean, I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's a perfect blend. Like, when film snobs are talking about stuff that technically is like horror, like it gets mentioned in all these weird conversations. Like, people talk about Raw at the same time as they would Serbian film, and it's just like, take it the fuck easy. Human Centipede, like, those are movies those are gimmicks. Raw, there's something else. It's, there's this addiction subtext that I really think they do really well. And again, certain aspects don't bother me, and I've seen far worse as far as gore is concerned. I don't know what that says about me, but I just really had an all right time with this.
perfect CP endorsement. His #1 film of the year. I had an alright time with this. All right, so my #1, Chips. Just one of the funniest films, I think. I mean, I had to pause it halfway through. I was laughing so much I could barely breathe. So maybe that's a downside, that it makes you laugh so much that you kind of need to catch your breath. But of course, my #1 is Logan, and Dennis at the Blue Corner commented Raw/Logan.
Spoiler.
Yeah, and if that's your kind of prediction, then yes, you can look at Letterboxd and find that pretty easily. So yeah, Logan, what a film. Loved it. I think I'm going to watch it again soon because I have the Blu-ray now, and it could change, and I think Baby Driver could take that top spot, but for now it just Hugh Jackman, just perfect. I love the X-Men movies when I'm watching them again. Like, they're not ones I go back to that much, but Logan was special. Like, that was just a comic book movie you don't see too often, and done that well. Just so like visceral. Like, just the violence is extreme, the language is extreme, the emotions are extreme. It just hits you in the gut.
Yeah.
Just
what I was talking about before with John Wick. Logan has the action of John Wick, but it has the story too, which makes it that much better. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, if I'd seen Unforgiven before I saw Logan, because I watched Unforgiven recently, I go, oh, it's kind of like Unforgiven. But I mean, Patrick Stewart, probably one of his career best performances. The little girl is great. Yeah, I just loved it. Fantastic film. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I suppose. And I think that there's a very good chance of it being toppled. I don't see it being there at the end of the year. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Let me just get through the comments again. Beauty and the Beast won't be in my top 10 worst, but it will be in my top 10 overrated of the year. Yeah, I just really like Beauty and the Beast. I know people thought it was redundant because it was just a pretty much straight up remake, but I had a good time. Raw was fantastic. Another top 5 for me. Only one way to settle this fight. Yeah, see, on the Brits on Flicks podcast that I mentioned at the beginning, there's quite a few instances like that, and you can hear Brian Lomax kind of like, oh.
I love Brian.
Yeah, in the background. I'm not too bothered that we had that big of a not disagreement, but difference of opinion on Raw. It is what it is.
Oh yeah, listen, I'm completely fine with it.
Yeah, Boss Baby is a one-joke movie, and that one joke is annoying. Baby Trump, no thanks.
Yeah, well, I'd rather Baby Trump than in a movie than Trump.
I don't know. I think it's a bit more than that. I don't know. It is what it is. I don't think it's a great film by any means.
I will say this: good riddance here from Denmark. Whew.
Raw reminded me a bit of a German movie called Wetlands. I've not heard of that.
Never heard of it.
Wonder Woman is my other favorite. Yep, great film. Dennis says I didn't look at Letterboxd. I remember CP's crappy list. and your love for Logan. Yeah, well, I guess it would be pretty easy to put that together.
Yeah, yeah, Dennis. I mean, we see each other daily, so yeah, 50-50. It's
Raw, more like SmackDown versus Raw.
Yeah.
Lady Macbeth and The Handmaiden should be in the top 10. I've heard of The Handmaiden, but don't know what it's about or anything. Power Rangers was a great film for me, mostly nostalgia though.
Yeah, you know what? Have you seen that, Luke?
I'm intrigued to see it. I did enjoy I never enjoyed the series as much as the original movie. I loved the original movie when I was a kid, but I'm intrigued, but I'm not like gonna rush to see it.
It's not, it's what a company could do if they tried to do the Marvel thing, but just didn't do it the Marvel way. Like, it's okay. It's not bad. It really isn't bad. I'm somebody who I have no interest whatsoever in any of the shows. I liked the song when they morphed. That was the only thing I liked about Power Rangers, that heavy guitar riff. But the movie, I was entertained. I mean, it came out like early March, if I'm not mistaken. It depends. Like, there's these things that, like, if you watch, I don't know, if you watch John Wick 2 this weekend at a theater, you're gonna be a little depressed that you chose that over, Spider-Man. Or like, there are these certain. I feel like there are gems like Life. Life, was that the Alien ripoff?
Yeah.
It came out in February or March. Perfect time for something like that. A bootleg Alien movie that, it's cold. There's nothing really big out. If you want a second-rate version of a summer movie, that's decent enough. I don't know what my point is. Power Rangers is shit. And if you're watching it at home, how disappointed can you be?
Bootleg Alien movie. Shit.
Oh, it's on. It's going down.
Oh, no.
Get the water. Sorry.
Yeah. We'll tone it down a notch.
I hit the brakes. I'm good.
Yeah, I imagine that they probably started that Power Rangers movie with the intention of starting the primary colors cinematic universe. I mean, that's the thing these days. It's all about the cinematic universe, and it's just like, guys, just see how the first movie does. You might have Tom Cruise in it, but it's just,
oh yeah,
steady on with the dark universe plans. Whatever they got. Power Rangers was surprisingly good. Thought it would be bad, but it's solid. All Eyes on Me would be in my top 5 worst. Love Tupac, but that biopic was trash.
Biopic.
So that's our lists: top 5 worst and top 10 best, as we see it. So the next 6 months, I got some more time. If you have to just talk about upcoming stuff.
Sure.
I'm going to see War of the Planet of the Apes tomorrow, and I couldn't be more excited. I could easily seeing it slotting into the #1 spot. There's a lot of potential there. I loved Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It was like a 9 out of 10 for me, like really great. Dawn just kicked my ass. Like, I love that film so much. I think it's about as perfect as you can get a film like that. There's just nothing wrong with it. Love all the characters. The special effects are great. The music is memorable. The story is just, I don't know if they'll be able to top it, but if they can, holy shit. If they can top that film, it'll be something.
Yeah. See, Dennis cordially invited me. I'm trying to figure out between that, I got to pick my battles with the money. So I don't know. That Dunkirk, I think there's something else in. Valerian, but I'm with you. But if Uncle Don can come through, maybe he'll.
Sure.
I agree. I'm rather fired up for that movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, back in the UK, it was quite the luxury to go and see a film for £4 when it's 3 times as expensive over here. So that's probably one of the factors that I probably won't get to see Dunkirk, because there's just, I think Valerian is going to be nowhere near the level of a film like Dunkirk, but probably going to be more of a fun time in the cinema. I don't know.
I read an article that said it's can't miss. I'm like, really? Tell me who's in it again.
Well, I don't know. Like, Luc Besson, I enjoy his stuff quite a bit. Fifth Element.
Oh, I do too. But
Fifth Element is a favorite.
If you've seen what America has and has not gone to, there's no The Rock in this movie. So what? So I'm seeing John Carter all over again with this. And when people say can't miss, it's just like, really?
Well, at least it's Valerian and was it City of a Thousand Planets or whatever?
Yes.
I mean, just Valerian. Oh.
What? Is that a new drug?
Honestly, John Carter to me sounded like a gangster movie.
yeah, like John Wick. Like you said it before. It just sounded like, oh, really? All right, I guess I can wait for that.
One day, all cinematic universes will crash and burn, and the next trend will start. Good video game movies.
Still waiting for that trend.
Right, yeah. Any news on how long it would be? Will they go 3+ hours?
They split that.
Yeah, you can talk about this. I got no idea. So.
It is supposed to be like the first half, and I think they're gonna make a sequel to it that would have been the second half. So it's just the young kid story. The 2017 version of it is just what was the first half of the Tim Curry movie. So that's what I've read, at least.
I have such high hopes for Blade Runner 2049. I probably won't feel happy with anything less than perfection. Yeah, that's the big boots to fill. That's it's really hard between Episode 8, War for the Apes, and Blade Runner. I mean, I'm so excited for those 3 films. Blade Runner, from everything we've seen, it looks like it's hitting all the right beats, but you never know until you sat there watching it. The only thing I'm concerned with is, what really makes Blade Runner so special is that it's all real, models and just it's something so tangible about that kind of special effect stuff that, I really hope they get the CGI perfect on it. But the trailers look really promising. Dennis says, well, it depends on me wanting to go see Dunkirk.
Well, then I'll take a bus. I said one of the 3. It could be Valerian Last. Dennis,
Mr.
Go ahead.
Go on. No, you go.
I was just going to say that we just bought the last of the vanilla Coke in all of Denmark, so I think that's my movie money, so whatever.
Mr. Movie says, I got to see War for the Planet of the Apes a week ago, and it's really worth seeing in theaters and the perfect end to the trilogy.
Oh, cool. So that's it? That's the end?
I would think so. I mean, you don't want to run it into the ground,
Really? It's Fox, and Fox has nothing else.
I'm saying you don't want to run it into the ground. I'm not saying that they won't necessarily. I'm nervous because I feel like it can be so good, and it's been hyped up so much. But I think I enjoy Dawn more than anyone, so it's quite. There's a lot of expectation there. Jason Hamilton says, "CP, just take a regular Coke and put some vanilla extract in it."
I've tried that. It doesn't quite work. But
it kind of works.
Really?
My dad went to LA in the early 2000s. He came back and he's like, "Luke, vanilla Coke. They've got this new thing," and he was trying to make it himself because we didn't have it in the UK. So I bought some vanilla extract, and it's not as good as the real thing, but it's.
Did I tell you the story about Emily? What is in England with vanilla Coke?
What?
1.5 liter bottles of vanilla Coke.
Yeah, you sent me the picture. Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, they're there." I'm like, "No, they're not in America, so there's no way they're anywhere else." Sure enough, she sent me a picture. I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I feel like shit." So, yeah, it's hard. Like, if you ever. Anybody who drinks like a flavored drink and goes to a restaurant and tries to, be cute, and they just have Coke on tap, and if you say, "Do you have cherry Coke?" or something like that, they say, "Well, we can make it," and then they bring out a Coke with 2 maraschino cherries, and it's just like that's what are you doing? So I always get that feeling when somebody says, "No, try it this way." Yeah, okay, sure. Sorry.
That's okay. Wolf Gret says, they sold me vanilla Coke down the chippy once, never again.
Wait, what does that mean? What's the chippy?
Oh, the chip shop, fish and chip shop. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Always a big fan of vanilla Coke.
That's an American can right there.
Oh yeah, import stuff, pricey, but yeah.
Oh. Corn syrup, a little bit better.
Then it says, yes, there is a definitive ending to War from what I've heard, but I guess that's not going to stop them if they really want to keep going. Yeah, I mean, they could kill.
Nice. No,
they could kill everyone off at the end, but I mean, you could go 50 years down the line and
you blew it.
Yeah. I mean, that's intriguing. Will they do a 4th one that is like the original Planet of the Apes, where they've taken over everything?
That would be interesting. So. That would be neat.
Yeah. Anyway, any other films you're looking forward to this year, particularly?
Have we gotten to December yet? I don't. I don't know.
Well, you weren't that hyped from the trailers.
But that doesn't mean a goddamn thing. That really doesn't mean anything.
True.
It's we haven't seen anything like really, and I guess like the trailer porn just isn't as plentiful. What am I trying to say? Like the opening shot of the first thing we saw for Force Awakens is fucking what's his? Why did I forget his name? What's your name? Kylo Ren when he goes into the forest, which is a shot that was never in the film anyway, and he fucking turns on that crazy concoction, and it was just like, oh yeah, that's it. If that was the teaser, I would have been like, yeah, I'm set. I'm all set.
I'm looking forward to when they release, or I could just use the current poster for The Last Jedi and just put a little quote on the bottom. The trailer porn is not as plentiful. David Gerlach says Justice League and Star Wars.
Is Justice League this year?
I think it's November or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. I get a little hazy towards the winter.
I tell you, I'm more excited now seeing Wonder Woman. She's probably the main cell, well, not the main cell, but like the one character I'm more interested in seeing. Yeah, I mean, I'll go see it. Not that excited for it though. You know, it's what it is really. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. I'm very sad that what happened with Zack Snyder, and now they're having Joss Whedon take over. That'll be.
Is it sad though? Is it really sad though?
I'd say so. Yeah.
For the movie's sake, I'm not talking about.
I'm saying it's sad for him.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I agree. But for the sake of the film,
I don't know. I don't know how much of it is Joss Whedon will be taking over for, and the same could be said of fucking Han Solo. You know, like Jesus Christ. You know. Oh, okay. No, we're good. You know, we'll get someone else to direct the last day and a half of the movie.
Did you read the story about the crew broke out into a round of applause when they?
Yeah. They haven't had much luck with their spin-off directors, have they? Josh Trank and can't wait for Wes Anderson's new movie. Yes, I cannot wait for that one.
Atomic Blonde.
Yeah, it looks all right.
It's She-Wick.
Yeah.
But I agree. What's Wes Anderson's movie?
Isle of Dogs, I believe. It's another stop motion animated film.
Ooh.
Just an incredible cast.
What the cuss?
Just ridiculous cast. It's kind of Japanese set or Japanese themed, I believe. So yeah, I'm all in for that. Can't wait. Yeah, like Sean says, the cast looks superb. Thor, looking forward to that one.
I'm spent on the heroes. At least theater wise is concerned.
Sure, yeah, I felt that in Civil War, like people saying, "Oh, superhero fatigue," and I'm like, I'm not feeling it. Civil War, the airport scene, I was like, And then of course they threw in an Empire Strikes Back reference, and I was like, yeah. But no, it's a great sequence, but I really did feel like this is just 10 characters fighting each other without much consequences, and it's a bit much. Enjoyable scene, but though by the time you get to the end of that film, you know, there's a great kind of scene. But anyway, I don't know. It's just the way it is, isn't it? I enjoy the characters, so yeah. Dennis is
Dark Tower. The Hitman's Bodyguard looks pretty funny. Oh, Kingsman. How the fuck did I forget that? My Little Pony. Dennis, what are you doing? My Little Pony. The Kingsman looks interesting. That just had a trailer.
Yeah. I'll speak to Don for that one. It's I enjoyed the first one a lot. Didn't love it as such.
Okay. Well, I mean, the year it came out, it depends on when you saw it. Like that was such a spy-heavy movie. Spy-heavy year.
Yeah,
it was like Kingsman. That you had Bond. You had the one that really failed with Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill.
Yes. When you said that, I was thinking, yeah, Kingsman. was it Kingsman, Bond, and then the Cavill film, because I can't remember whatever that was called.
Yeah, and then Spy with Melissa McCarthy came out that year. It was just like, guys, chill. We get it. But yeah, a little less cluttered this year.
Right.
Are you being rung upon?
Yeah. So you just hold the fort for a bit.
Okay. So let's talk at the chat here. Don't forget, CP Joss Whedon messed up Age of Ultron. I wouldn't say he messed up Age of Ultron. I would say didn't quite live up to the first one. The Emoji Movie, I hope that's a joke. David Gerlach, Murder on the Orient Express, good fucking call. I'd like to see, has there been any footage more than that little 10-second thing where they show everybody in the lobby or whatever? Because if I'm fired up about it, but I'd like to see some footage, because, you know, ideas are great, but, you know, footage probably works better. Ron Howard, I'm very unsure about for the Han Solo movie. Well, he might just be filling in like the last quarter or fifth, or what. He's just picking up shoot days. Because from what I understand, there were like 66 to 75 to 80% done, which a bunch of the material is very usable. So it depends on how much they're actually going to use Ron Howard for. I wonder how good Aquaman will be. Yeah, I still
Mermaid Man.
Bad Batch is something that he's in. I saw him in Once Upon a Time in Venice. He's quite all right as a Mexican drug dealer hitman. Khal Drago. You know, we'll see. What I do this time?
No, Wolf Gratz. Yoko Ono isn't dead.
Where did that come from?
Well, she's in Isle of Dogs, Wes Anderson's new film. So.
Oh God, is she?
Yeah. Still undecided over Blade Runner 2049, and this is coming from a fan of the original. Yeah, there's the whole Deckard thing I think about, but yeah, and I could get into that anyway. We're going to wrap the stream up, but Jason Momoa looks like a Roman Reigns wannabe. Yeah. Whenever I see him, I'm always thinking, ooh,
my yard.
Right. So thank you, CP, for joining me for this stream.
Thank you for having me.
Go check out his channel. Link is in the description below this video, and his Letterboxd account, all that good stuff. And yeah, we might do this again sometime. This has been cool. It'll be interesting to see how the lists change by the end of the year. So yeah, I can definitely see Blade Runner, War for the Planet of the Apes, and Episode 8 being in the top 10 at least. Barring any surprises of them not being very good, which is always possible. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.